Welcome to the 17th episode of Downtime Podcast. My name is Alyssa. I'm sorry, everyone. I know I've been slacking a bit with podcasting and editing. It's been a bit of a busy month, but I finally found time to make this episode. So Jeremy and I have recorded 2 episodes within the past 3 weeks that I just haven't had time to put together. So instead of keeping those separately, we are going to have another 2-in-1 podcast. So first, you're going to hear podcast number 1 that we recorded at the beginning of August. And after, you will hear part 2, which was recorded sometime in the middle. It is 2 a.m. right now, which is why I am appropriately naming this podcast the Late Night 2-in-1. Enjoy! Welcome to the sweet sounds of Downtime Podcast, where 2 coworkers talk about video games. You have your DJ Alyssa here, swinging the tunes with Jeremy on the other line. How you doing, Jeremy?
I'm doing well, Lisa. How are you?
I'm doing great. So we're about to play some nice tunes to kick off your evening. What do we have to start with?
Well, it's currently 9:40 p.m. on August 2nd, and
Yes.
I am playing right now some Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword on PC.
I don't know what that is.
It's okay. I can explain it.
Yay!
So one of the games I'm currently playing right now is Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword. I was gonna say that was a really good transition into the podcast, Lisa. I have to give you props for that.
I just thought of that maybe a minute ago. I thought of it and I committed. And
Honestly,
here we are.
the late night DJ voice is one of my favorite voices because like it's just a bunch of it's a bunch of DJs just going like, oh yeah, and you're right here listening to the tunes. Here's some jazz music for you. I'm like, why are you talking like that? Like,
It's almost the right mood to play Careless Whisper right now.
Yeah, seriously. Just need some hot chocolate in your hand, you know?
Exactly.
It's good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
So, Mountain Blade thing.
yeah. So the game is called Mount and Blade with Fire and
Mount
Sword.
and Blade.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mount and Blade. So it does sound like Mountain Blade, doesn't it?
It does.
So Mount
if
and
you
Blade.
say it fast.
Yeah, exactly. So Mount and Blade with Fire and Sword is a standalone expansion to this game called Mount and Blade. God, I sound like a crazy person.
Oh my god.
It's an RPG. It's a third-person RPG that has
Right.
real-time strategy combat. So that means when you're fighting an enemy, you're actually moving, and it's not turn-based. Imagine Kingdom Hearts, but set in medieval times, and you're fighting factions from the Polish and the Swedish, and you're using guns and swords, and you're riding horses, and you can have up to squads of 10 or 100 even if you want to in like 200 versus 200 people battles, and it's just insane. It's a crazy fun game.
So you're playing this online?
Yeah, so there's a multiplayer aspect, and honestly, the only thing I play on Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword is Captain Co-op. That's with you and like 32 different other players. All have squads of 10 guys, and you're all on one faction on one side fighting against bots, and you have to
Okay.
Yeah, so there's like regular waves, and then there's veteran waves, and then there's elite waves, which are the ones that are if you get past the veteran waves, and which are the hardest ones in Captain Co-op mode. Honestly, it's the most fun I've ever had playing this game. It's just a really good multiplayer PC fun because a lot of the players are really friendly towards you in the game, and a lot of people it's a really like tight knit community of people that just like play this game together. And I've been playing it for a few years now actually, and I haven't really made any like close friends with anyone in the game, but just I always see the same usernames pop up, and we're always like we nod at each other like, hey, what's up, man, how's it going? And then
Video game head nod.
Yeah, in-game head nods, and yeah, it's a lot of fun just playing like with squads, and you're all trying to fight against one cause. Imagine if Killing Floor was set in medieval times, and you're playing with more than like 6 people on a server. That's all I could say.
Well, that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Who makes the game?
Tail Worlds Entertainment.
Oh, I don't know who that is.
They're a Turkish developer, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, and so there's a sequel to Mountain and Blade called Mountain Blade Warband, and currently there's this mod for the game. Well, there's several mods actually. Some of them Mountain and Blade Warband is very highly moddable, which is that doesn't make any sense. Very highly moddable. I'm going crazy. Mountain and Blade Warband is very moddable, and there's
it.
yeah. So there's different mods you can add to make. You can retexture the skins for the game. So a couple of my favorites are Star Wars. You can make the entire game look like Star Wars, and you can travel to different planets, which is pretty cool. There's also Game of Thrones, which I actually haven't played, but it looks cool. It looks just like the show. And then there's also Lord of the Rings. There is the American West, which was kind of interesting. You could use guns instead of swords. And finally, there is a samurai mod for that game where you can.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you could take over Japan, which is pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, so the Mountain Blade series is near dear to my heart.
So with a lot of the mods, you don't exactly play in medieval times.
No, it totally changes the scenario because the single player in the mods for Mountain and Blade Warband, which is totally different from with Fire and Sword, are so that they emphasize on playing the single player campaign where you alone either join up with a faction or make your own faction and take over the world, and it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. It's
really cool when people go far with mods and can completely change up the game.
Honestly, I love modding. I think the modding community is really cool, and it's just people doing this for free, you know? And the first game I ever modded was actually with my brother, and it was the Elder Scrolls Morrowind that we did that together.
Did you really mod Morrowind?
Oh, we modded the shit out of Morrowind. It was so cool. Once you stepped off oh my god, once you step off of the boat, you'd see Willy Wonka trying to hand you a sword along with a bunch of samurai running around. And
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. It's the fact that we had a Willy Wonka there was just crazy. And then we had a Stargate in there. We had guns. We downloaded this mod where we added this whole section of the game that wasn't even there before. And yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I like mods a lot. Mods for Morrowind were just so fun. But going back and playing it now, I think I would not have a good time playing them because the game is really dated. But you could fight me on that. Fight me, I dare you. But yeah,
he dares you.
Yeah,
he dares you, everyone.
Morrowind just looks dated now, and I don't think I would have the same experience as I did when I played it back then. So yeah.
Well, you can play Skyrim now on VR, so
I could play Skyrim on any console now, is what it looks like.
I mean, Skyrim's gonna be on phone, unless it is already, and I just don't know.
Oh, jeez, no, please spare me.
Speaking of which, I started the first 15 minutes of Skyrim.
Ooh, how do you like it?
And just going for that matter, I also started the first 30 minutes of Dishonored.
Is this on PC?
I'm playing Skyrim on PS4, and I'm playing Dishonored on PC.
Ooh.
And the reason I just want to say this one thing real quick.
Sure.
And then I will quickly talk about each of the games. I haven't delved much into it to say a lot. But I will say this. I am not used to first-person games at all. I'm a person who likes third-person, seeing the character. When I see the character in all its glory, it feels like I'm following them on a journey. Yeah. And when I'm actually that person and I don't see it, it legit throws me off in a way. So Dishonored and Skyrim kind of start off in the same, they start off in the same exact way. You're on one of those carts being pulled by horses in Skyrim, and you're on a boat in Dishonored, and you're playing as first person, and you just have to look around and get used to all of the controls.
Yeah.
And straight up, it's pretty freaking, I don't know. Like I said, I'm just so used to playing as that person. It's really difficult for me to get used to.
Yeah. I got you. No, I mean, like, there's a lot of people who side with either third person or first person as, being enveloped in the game. I mean, a lot of people like the silent protagonist aspect of, like, let's say Half-Life, where Gordon Freeman doesn't say anything, and yet a lot of people find attachment to that game and to that character because he's just quiet, and you are Gordon when you play that game,
Yeah.
Where it comes to games like Just Cause 3, where,
oh my god!
Where you're
We're coming back to this one.
I'm joking. I'll say a better game. Let's play a third-person game like Yakuza 0, where you play as Majima or Kiryu.
Yes.
And it's a third-person perspective, so you're still attached to that character because you see them all the time. Whereas
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. I am more attached to the character when I see it. Like in Grand Theft Auto, you have an option of playing in first person. I have never done that.
Yeah, same.
And I question, so I've always played Uncharted as a third person, but I don't know if you can change the view for that.
No, you cannot.
Okay, cool. So that's an example of like why I'm also attached to that game, just the mere fact that I can see the character. I will say that I do enjoy Dishonored and Skyrim for the little bits that I've played. When it comes to Skyrim, I have watched Morrowind and I have seen a few people I know play Oblivion, and I've played a little bit as well. So this is my first time really getting into it. I'm generally not a person who plays things that are I don't know if you want to put it this way, but would you consider Skyrim medieval based almost a bit? Like,
oh no, 100%. That is medieval.
Yeah. I'm that's just a genre, or that's just a timepiece that I typically choose not to play. There's nothing wrong with it. So there's a lot of things that I am getting used to. I will say this as well. Skyrim, the adaptation for PlayStation 4, even though it came out in 2012, 2013, it looks really fucking nice.
Yeah.
It's still, like, they really enhanced the graphics. It's beautiful. And I can see why this was one of the most beautiful games when it came out 5 years ago. And I can't imagine what they're going to do for the 6 Elder Scroll series.
Oh, shit. Yeah. I can't wait. It's going to be crazy.
It is going to be really crazy.
You know why it's going to be crazy? Because it won't be Skyrim.
Oh, my God. Oh, God. Yeah. It won't be Skyrim. It'll be another obscure name.
Yeah.
I chose, what did I choose? I think I chose the lizard race. I don't know what that one's called in Skyrim.
Chocobo races. I'm joking.
Oh my god.
No.
Can you imagine being a chocobo though? Playing as a chocobo race? That would be amazing.
Alyssa, like we said before, there's mods. You can just mod it. Well, yeah, you're on PS4. Damn it. No.
I can't do that for PS4.
Oh,
unfortunately.
Get it on PC, then you can mod it and you can ride a chocobo.
Oh my god, I already have it on PS4.
No, buy it twice.
Oh my god. Jeez. To be continued on that. I would love to play as a chocobo though. That would be awesome.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. And then last thing I have to talk about, Dishonored is also cool. Although the Dishonored storyline is, in general, something that I would enjoy more in terms of gameplay, I like Skyrim more so far. But that's saying very little because I've only played 15 to 30 minutes of each game.
Yeah. I gotcha.
That is all I have to say because I can't contribute much else until I put in some work for Skyrim next week.
People are gonna hate me. I haven't played Skyrim. So.
I mean, this is my first time playing Skyrim. I
just got the game, I think 2-3 weeks ago. I never played it when it came out. Oh, I do have a really random story. So, I'll go. By the way, everyone, I'm having really bad allergies and I don't know why.
It's okay. We don't blame you.
Okay. God. So when I was in college, I had this professor, and I think we had a midterm of some sort or a important assignment, and it hadn't been graded for 2 weeks. And this professor straight up said, "I'm sorry, I haven't really been attentive with grades or like this assignment or whatever it was. Skyrim just came out."
Really? I mean, you can really get involved into that game because, like I said before, if you play it on PC, did your friend play it on PC?
My professor, you mean?
Your professor. Sorry, I don't know why I confused your professor. I was thinking of your. I'm sorry.
I mean, I feel like in the time I was his student, we were probably friends, I think. I bothered him all the time during office hours.
Oh, wow.
So we were probably friends.
Yeah,
in my mind, at least.
I can classify that as so.
Anyways, oh God, what was the question again?
Did he play it on PC or was it on PS4?
Oh yeah, he played it on PC. Wasn't the first time it was released, it only came out on PC, right? It wasn't until later it came out on console? Or was it released on Xbox and I didn't know?
I think it was on 360 and PS3 at the same time it was on PC, but I think
Oh,
maybe it was
okay.
delayed. I don't know. I didn't follow the
Okay.
news.
For sure. Yeah. Should if I know.
It's okay.
Yeah.
But
Anyways,
still, yeah.
I need to stop passing judgment on the Elder Scrolls series fans. I am playing it. I am enjoying it. I understand the plight of putting a lot of hours into it because I've done that for a lot of video games.
Yeah.
And I will probably put more hours into it because goddamn, if like I don't even know how long doing all the quests are, and
Yeah.
I'm not prepared. Basically, I'm probably gonna get sucked into another long game that I didn't want to be sucked into yet.
No, I got you. And to be honest, that's just how it is when it comes to games like that. Like especially
Yeah.
these long RPGs. Although I will say, the most time I've ever spent on a video game wasn't actually an RPG. It was actually Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
Because I
remember
downloaded
those times.
No, for real though. Because I downloaded modded maps on PC.
Oh,
and I would just
okay.
play on them and oh my god,
Nice.
I was so obsessed with that game when I was younger.
That's pretty. I remember when everyone was super obsessed with that game. So
It's still a solid fun game. It
is.
It aged really well.
yeah,
So, I mean, hey, Left 4 Dead 3, where are you?
I know. See, what's up with all these games just expanding to different consoles? Just make the new game already.
Yeah. Seriously.
I've put the most hours into The Sims 3. So,
Do you know how many?
oh god. See, I changed laptops, so I probably can't tell you, but I'll tell you, I straight up played it when The Sims 3 first came out to the last expansion pack. That's how awesome that game is.
Dang.
And I still play it instead of The Sims 4.
When did The Sims 3 come out?
Oh god, did it come out in 2008 maybe or 2009, 10? It had to be one of those years. Basically, The Sims 3 is greatest of all time.
I think the second game I had the most hours logged on Steam was Team Fortress 2.
Oh, see, when it comes to collaborative team games, that makes a lot of sense as well.
Oh yeah, like all of my friends played it. My brother and I played it all the time. It was just one of those games where, you know, we traded a lot of stuff together and we played to get
Yeah.
more hats and to get more weapons. And there, I mean, I played it over. I own Overwatch, and Jairus and I played together with our mutual friends. It's just, I don't know, for that game, it hasn't recaptured the magic I felt when I played Team Fortress 2 for some reason.
There seems to be a very strong side that loves Overwatch and a side that just doesn't enjoy Overwatch, it seems.
Yeah, and I get that. I understand. You know, I really like Overwatch. I think it's a really, really fun game, but for the most part, like I don't know, like for me, if my friends aren't into it as much as I am, then it's really hard to get into something like that.
Yeah.
I need like I don't like playing Overwatch alone because like after my friends kind of stopped playing, then it was more like I'm alone playing this game, and the pub matches I played by myself, no one really collaborated with each other, and you know, you're always berated for not doing well by the other team. It's like, come on, guys, like this is what it feels like to be in a pub match.
When it
Horrible.
comes to games like that where co-op is so ingrained, it's just more fun playing with people you know than playing with random people.
Oh yeah, no, like if you get called like a loser, like and you're with your buddies, then you're like, oh,
By
man,
a
this dude-"
14-year-old.
Yeah, and especially when you're with your buddies and you get called a loser by a 14-year-old, you're just like, man, dude, like it's just at least we were together, you know, like where are you and your other 14-year-old kids? Let's go squash you guys.
Yeah. God, you meet some very vicious very vicious middle schoolers on the internet because of video games. It's quite hilarious.
I don't remember being that savage when I was a kid playing games. Maybe because I didn't play. Oh, you know what? It's because we didn't grow up in a time when online capability was as it is now. You know.
Yeah, we had AOL. Dial-up.
Oh.
And remember when you could not even make a phone call, or vice versa? If someone was on the phone, you couldn't go on the internet. Those were the days.
Yeah. And you know what? At one point, my parents had net zero. They had like the little speedometer that would show you your internet speed.
Did I have net zero? I don't think my family ever had net zero. We had the other DSL that I don't even remember.
Ooh, DSL.
Yeah, and God knows, I don't even remember the names anymore. Oh, MSN maybe? God, I don't know. I don't even remember.
I remember them.
Yeah.
They were not very good.
Long story short, praise the internet.
Yeah, seriously. Long live net neutrality. Long live. No, I don't want to get into that.
Not today.
No. Can I talk about another game that I've kind of been playing ish?
Go for it. I'm not playing anymore. I'm not playing shit right now.
Well, it's not really a game right now. It's more of a demo.
Oh, what are you playing?
Oh, so it's this game called Drift Stage, and what it is that it's an arcade simulator that it's kind of like the Initial D video games, but right now it's only it's not like exactly like it. It's honestly just you and the corners of the road, and that's it. Right now, it's just a demo.
Okay.
And that's really cool. So what it was is it was a Kickstarter funded game that initially was just that. It was just like they just wanted to make an arcade drifting game, an arcade racing drifting game with your friends. And they got funded.
Okay.
They asked for 30,000, and they think they got funded 57,000 on Kickstarter.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and so they're like really well into development right now. I don't know when it's going to be released exactly, but you can go to the website driftstagegame.com. I think that's the website.
Yeah.
And just look up Drift Stage on Google, and yeah, so it's 3D cell shaded but also 2D animated, which is kind of cool for that kind of game. And you can download the demo free right now. I think it's like an alpha.
Oh, this is very
version.
old school looking.
Yeah, it's so sick though, right? Like it looks like
Yeah.
like Cruising USA meets Initial D. And honestly, it's got that retro 80s vibe to it. It's got the music, that kind of vaporwave-ish, future funkish music, but it's also got like the modern driving mechanics that you'd find today. So like when you're rounding a corner, you want to let go of the gas and press the brake button, but then like press the gas again so that you're drifting into the corner, and it's just really, really cool. And they have a photo mode right now where you can take pictures of your car or of the scenery and make it your new desktop background. So I think I might change my desktop background to that of some screenshots I took of Drift Stage. And I wrote a little article about it on the blog, so you can go to triangle-c.blog to see what I wrote. And I think it's a really cool game. It's looking to be a really, really awesome game right now. And yeah,
This looks like. So the backgrounds look like that really old Sega game, like their very first racing game. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh! Can you play it in Yakuza 0? Is it that game?
Yeah, it's that one.
Oh my god, what's the name of the game? Because I played that a lot in Yakuza 0. Oh,
I
Outrun.
know.
It's called Outrun. That's what it's. Oh, Outrun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one where you had to play it to get on a date with that girl, which turns out she didn't want to go on a date with you. You know which side story I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. When you're Kiryu? Wait, no,
Yeah.
Majima or Kiryu? Which one was it?
I think I remember playing it with Kiryu.
Yeah, it was.
But
it was
yeah,
Kiryu. Yeah.
the graphics and especially the setting and environment looks exactly like that game, which is cool. Looks very 80s-esque.
Yeah, I really like that. I think that's. I like the style. I like the music of the game so far. I like the mechanics, and it's just a really, really smooth, solid game. So, Alisa,
Yeah, it's awesome.
I recommend it to you to try the demo. It's controller compatible, and I highly recommend you use a controller because playing on keyboard is rough for a racing game.
Oh yeah.
I played Lego Racers on keyboard, and damn, that shit is tough. You know what I'm talking? Have you played Lego Racers before?
I have played Lego Racers before. I don't have it, but I have done it.
Yeah, the game is fun. It's really cute.
Yes.
My brother and I played it together. He would whenever we pick up items, he would use the items and I would drive. It was really cute.
Oh.
And then we still have the game. I think I still have it on CD somewhere.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great game. But yeah, check out Drift Stage. It's really cool. It's being developed by 2 guys, technically 3. One guy's the composer. There's the lead developer, and then I think there's another guy who's also doing the coding for multiplayer or whatever. But yeah, check it out. It's a really solid game so far.
Awesome.
I'm probably gonna buy it when it comes out on Steam because it was Steam greenlit in 2015.
Very cool.
Yeah. And that's all the games I've been kind of playing right now.
Yeah, I haven't actually I haven't played a lot recently. I've actually been watching more TV than I have been playing games. But I have, like I said, I've started a lot of games that I intend on continuing.
Cool. What you been watching, by the way? We don't have to. We can take a little tangent.
Oh, you know what I'm watching.
Yes, I do.
The greatest show of all time.
The greatest reality show of all time?
The greatest reality show of all time. What else?
Terrace House. If you watch Terrace House, if you're a listener and you watch Terrace House, we would love to talk about it with you. Leave us a comment or a question, and we'll be glad to answer it. I mean, Terrace House is just one of those shows on Netflix right now that you should really check out because it's a reality show set in Japan. The new season's set in Hawaii, but it's interesting. It's interesting.
It's the greatest of all time.
Yeah, I mean, like I've watched quite a few reality shows, and this one
This is nothing like Real World.
No, this is nothing like
it.
this is nothing like Real World. This is nothing like Big Brother. This is nothing like Amish in the City. Yes, I watched Amish in the City. If you know what that is,
Amish in the City is a thing.
it was a reality show in 2002 or 2004. I don't remember. My parents, brother, and I watched the crap out of that show when we were growing up.
Wow.
It was about Amish people
I can't
coming from this.
believe that's even a TV show.
Yeah, it did really well. But you know what? The last episode happened. You know what happened in the last episode? So, the show's about...
someone die?
Oh, no. Nothing like that. It wasn't extreme.
Okay.
A bunch of Amish people came to New York City, I think, was to, study life in the U.S. and they want... Or not U.S., what am I saying? They study life in the city.
A metropolitan area.
Yeah, in a major metropolitan area. And they wanted to see if they either wanted to go back or they wanted to stay. And on the very last episode, all the city people, along with the Amish people, were going to go to the Amish part of the U.S. and live there, and they were going to shoot there, but the show got canceled before that happened.
Damn!
It would have been so interesting to see that. And
That is hilariously awesome.
It was like the craziest cliffhanger ever, and I was so disappointed that they weren't going to show the rest of that season anymore. So, yeah, so,
Dang.
again, Terrace House, going back to Terrace House, it's a great show. Check it out. It's interesting. It's crazy.
Yes. Han-san for the win.
Yeah. Armand, love that guy.
I know, basically the best. Oh, you know what? Speaking of TV shows, I do have a lot of video game TV show things to say.
Oh.
Are you aware that there's a Castlevania TV show on Netflix?
I am aware, but I did not
and
know.
Have you watched it?
I have not, but I didn't know if it tied in with the game at all.
It is actually tied in with one of the Castlevania games. It's not the original game. It's one of the later ones.
Okay.
And it does generally follow the storyline, and it branches off a little bit.
Okay.
And then also with the Castlevania game, it is only 4 episodes, and each of them are 30 minutes. So watching it is basically watching a movie.
Cool. That's pretty cool. Okay.
I actually really like it. I think it does a good job of acknowledging that it is a popular video game, but does something different that makes it interesting as well.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I think you should check it out, especially because it's a short watch too. Very quick.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
I really want to get into the games too, because I really want to get into Castlevania. I feel like that's one of those series that just fits well with kind of my gameplay style. I really like platformers that are like quick paced and have a lot of action. So I think that this game will really like sit with me. But I just need the right moment to play it. Like, I don't know. Like I want to play Shovel Knight, for example. Like I really think Shovel Knight and Castlevania are similar in a lot of ways, but also very different. But I haven't played Shovel Knight yet, and that's like been on my wish list on Steam for the longest time, and I still have to buy it, and I still want to play it, but I don't have the I don't have the motivation right now. I don't know what it is. Someone needs to sit me down and be like, here, take this game, play it right now, or I'm gonna kill you. That's just what I have to.
Oh my god! Okay.
No. Okay, that's too extreme. I'm just kidding. No, they just need to put me down and just like say, hey, play this game. It's highly recommended, because I've been told that before, and there weren't some very good outcomes from stuff like that. So yeah, you're looking at ukulele.
Oh, a lot of bitterness here today, folks.
Sorry, too much salt. Too much salt.
Too much salt.
I'll hold it back.
It's crazy with Castlevania is that it's so popular and the type of gameplay of it is so popular. They straight up have a genre called Metroidvania, and like also combined with Metroid, of course. But just I think this is like, when did this game even come out? Like the 1980s by Konami? I don't even
think so. I'm not well versed in the history of the Castlevania franchise.
Yeah, this is a really old game. For sure.
But,
and then, of course, if you like vampires, then this is the game for you.
Looking at all you Twilight fans out there. I'm joking.
God.
I'm joking. No. So I think I'll check out the series on Netflix and possibly the game once I.
Yeah, like I said, it's very short. I think what I have to say is, even if you've never played Castlevania, just the series itself is a fun standalone anime.
Okay, sure. I'll check it out.
So there's nothing to worry about there.
Sweet. Thanks for the recommendation.
Yes, of course. And on top of that, Persona 5 is getting its own anime in 2018. That there's not much to say aside from the fact that they turn all of the Personas into animes, and the 5th one's coming out in 2018. So basically it's like all the anime cutscenes that they have in the game will be in TV show form. So that I'm actually really excited for that, because I love the Persona series. I really like the storyline of Persona 5. And if you don't feel like playing Persona 5, watching the anime covers the entire plot.
Oh, that's handy. So
like Persona 4's anime, straight copy of what the plot is. Even some of the side quests.
Wow, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, so it's like straight up, if you don't want to play the game, you can watch this TV show.
Side quests, aka filler episodes in the anime.
Basically.
So I haven't played Persona 4. Am I okay playing 5, or do I have to play 4 first?
So this is what I'll have to say about between 4 and 5. There is a drastic. So I love Persona 4 a lot. I think it's a beautiful game, and I love the storyline, and that in itself makes it worth playing. But there is a drastic difference in battle gameplay and mechanics that advance things faster.
Uh-huh.
And because of that, if you play Persona 5 and then go back to Persona 4, it may be difficult to get used to because they added so many things in. So it is a long haul, but I would suggest playing Persona 4 first before playing Persona 5 because I'm a little bit wary about enjoyment simply because of newly added mechanics that make Persona 5 easier to play. Yeah. I personal opinion, I do like the Persona 4 storyline more than I do Persona 5, but that not to say that Persona 5's bad at all. I love both of them. It's just like a personal opinion. But yeah, I would say start with 4. If you can stomach it, I would start with 4 first and then go to 5. Some people, not to say that people don't like aged games, like someone might play 5 and they'll enjoy 4 perfectly fine. But
okay, yeah.
But
Very
just
cool.
Yeah, just being cautious of everyone of typically how people generally feel about aging games.
Honestly, a lot of games age pretty well over time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe not graphically. Sorry, Morrowind, but just gameplay wise, they're still solid games. Like the first Super Mario Brothers is still a solid game.
Persona 4 is still is still a perfectly fine turn-based game, even after playing Persona 5.
Yeah.
Shoot. I was going to say something actually. So in terms of the Persona 4 graphics, there's not much to worry about. It's all very anime based.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not a huge departure.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't played a really good JRPG in a while, so I think I'll pick up Persona 5.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, maybe during Black Friday.
Oh, that would be a good time.
There's 3 games I want to pick up on Black Friday.
Yeah.
Actually 4. So one is Persona 5. I was also Rise of the Tomb Raider, and then there's also Shovel Knight, like I said before, and The Evil Within.
Got it.
So, yeah, more to come. Probably all will be on PS4, but we'll see. If there's a good Steam sale for Shovel Knight, I'll pick that up for PC.
For sure. Man, I still don't. I don't quite know what my future will be like when it comes to video games, or like what games I'll be wanting to play. Ni no Kuni, I think I'll pick up during Black Friday for sure.
I don't have a PS3, but I want that game so badly. I want to play it so badly.
The second one I think is a different storyline for the first one.
But I still want to play the first one.
I know.
Studio Ghibli, I love you. Joe Hisaishi, I love
you. Yes. So awesome. Shoot. There's one more thing I wanted to bring up.
I don't have anything left on my queue, so.
Okay. Have you ever heard or read the book Ready Player One?
Yes, I have heard of it. Okay, well, I have not read the book.
Okay.
Recently. At all. What am I saying recently? At all. I do want to read the book now because of the trailer. I do know what the book is about. Ernest Cline, the writer of Ready Player One, actually wrote an episode of Red vs. Blue, Rooster Teeth's production, of season 14, one of the episodes from season 14.
Really? Did he do that?
He did. And it was a parody on Reservoir Dogs.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so Rooster Teeth is well connected.
I never knew that.
Yeah, so I think that the trailer, are you talking about the trailer specifically?
No, I'm not talking about the trailer. I'm just stating that there's a movie now based on the book, and I'm curious if you checked it out before.
I did. I watched the trailer like 5 times.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah, it was because
You already beat me.
Yeah, well, yeah. One of the things in the book is that the main character drives a DeLorean from Back to the Future, and
Yes,
Back to the
that's
Future
correct.
is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I didn't know that he drove a DeLorean, the exact DeLorean from Back to the Future in the book. And so when I saw the trailer, I was blown away. Like, wow, like they got the license rights for that. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, Steven Spielberg. Like during the Comic-Con panel for Ready Player One, they were like, no one could direct this movie but Steven Spielberg. One, obviously because it's freaking Steven Spielberg. A lot of his movies were set during the time of the 80s, and so Ernest Cline, the novel itself is based on a lot of things from the 1980s and a lot of pop culture references from the 1980s.
Yes, that is correct.
And Steven Spielberg was a huge part of the 1980s. And during the panel at Comic-Con, Ernest Cline even said, like, yeah, this man right here was one of the reasons why this book was written and one of my childhood heroes. And obviously, the second reason why they had to get Steven Spielberg for this movie is because the licensing. There's so many pop culture references in this movie.
There really are.
That no one else could pull this off but Steven Spielberg.
They reference so I actually read the book.
Oh wow.
And this is straight up the first book that I read for fun coming out of college. I typically don't read, and my sister got me to read this book. And I enjoyed it a lot, especially because I thought it was a really fun concept, and I liked a lot of the references, and I just like reading those types of books.
Yeah.
And just kind of seeing it come to life is interesting, and it's always like that for any book when it has a movie adaptation, especially if you read it, because you imagined it in some way when you're initially reading, and when you finally see a trailer for it, it's just shocking that this person imagined it like that. So there are a lot of really cool things that I liked seeing in this trailer, as well as a lot of things I'm like, wow, that's really what you thought when that happened. You know, like that type of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, like, obviously, the vision, like the film can't always portray what's in the novel correctly, depending on like the writer's vision. But Ernest Cline actually co-wrote this movie, so
yeah,
it's his vision too. So I think it's really what he wanted to see in a movie, as opposed to what we thought we would see in the movie. I mean, I'm sure when I read Harry Potter for the first time, I had completely different like viewpoints on what the castle should look like and what the characters look like.
Oh yeah, of course.
But
exactly.
of course, you know, what a lot of people associate with Harry Potter now is the movie characters and what the movie looks like.
Yes.
And now that the whole theme park is based on just the movies and not really the books. So
yeah,
it's kind of different to how we're gonna see this.
I know. Do you know what the story is about? Because I can tell you what the story is about without spoiling it.
I do know what the story is about for Ready Player One, right?
Yes.
Yes, I do know what the story's about. I read the summary before, and it's basically
okay, cool.
It's like a VR take on Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in a kind of way.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why they were playing Pure Imagination in the trailer.
Yes.
Kind of, but yeah, I do know what the story's about, and I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and with Ernest Cline, I'm actually in the process of reading his second book now, called Armada.
Oh, really?
And it's also a video game genre, or video game themed book. It's not a sequel to Ready Player One. It's its own standalone. But I'm also reading more of his stuff.
Cool. Yeah. There's also a sequel to Ready Player One coming out.
I know, I heard about that. The one thing that I wanted to see was I wanted to see more of the main characters introduced in this game, which of course we'll see when the movie comes out. But I was hoping to see what a few characters I had in my head were, or what they imagined them to look like in the movie. But that's okay. I can always wait for the movie to come out.
It's kind of interesting. Maybe we can talk about it after we both see the movie, because like I've never read the book and you've read the book, and maybe we can kind of share.
Oh, that would be a great comparison. Yeah. I would love to do that.
How about this? I won't read the book until after the movie and after we talk about it. I mean, honestly,
okay.
like, I don't. It's not something that I really need to read right now. It's more like it'll be fun if we both have different viewpoints on this, after
Oh
we
yeah,
watch it.
totally.
And
I'm
plus,
down.
it's totally gaming related too. The movie's about VR.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do it.
Cool. Sounds good.
Yes. And that's all. I think that's everything I have to say.
Yeah, we
for
hit
this
the 47-minute mark, so I think that's a.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we could call it a day if you want.
Cool. Sounds good. So I came into this podcast generally unprepared. I guess I only have 2 things to talk about.
I kind of have 3, but you
Okay.
can go ahead first.
Okay. So I'll talk about this first because it's a bit shorter, but they recently announced there's going to be a lot of spin-off games for Persona. So there's going to be a Persona game called Q2, and they've also spinned it off to have a bunch of dance games.
Persona dance games?
Yeah, like straight up,
like
Bust a Move dance games.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's
so
interesting.
the interesting thing about the Persona series, once you really get into it, is it's very successful. And
Okay.
because it's successful, there are a lot of goddamn spin-offs, let alone a lot of really goddamn random spin-offs.
Huh. Okay.
So, with Persona 4, they even came out with a fighting game spin-off.
Yeah, I remember seeing that, and that was really weird.
Yeah, I played that. I played through that, and I finished that. And it looks like for Persona 5, they're going to have the dance game. I don't know if I'm going to buy it, but...
Huh. That'd be interesting if they just kept making like every like standalone release of Persona, or like, big release of Persona, like let's say Persona 6, they'd have like a sub spin-off which has no relation to the actual JRPG that it came from. Like
it's really what it is.
Yeah, like I bet you like Persona 6 will be like kart racing or something. Watch.
Oh, good old kart racing.
Oh yeah, just like when Crash Bandicoot, like I think one of the last games before it got rebooted or like remastered was like a kart racing game, like Crash Bandicoot Kart Racing or something. And
Really?
Like, yeah. So then the joke was
wait, you're talking about Crash Team Racing.
Yeah, Crash Team Racing, and the joke was that
the thing is, CTR was really popular though.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
No, it was good.
Yeah. Or like, I feel like it's not to the degree that these spin-offs are, where they're very, very, how the hell is this even related? See, in the CTR universe, I can almost see and understand how it has a racing game, because if you think about it, like, why does Mario have a racing game? And you're looking into that environment. This one, yeah, with CTR, I kind of get it.
Yeah,
and
it's cool. It makes sense.
And then with Persona 5, I'm like, what the hell's going on right now? Why is this a thing?
Are you gonna play it? Are you gonna buy it and play it?
Probably. I don't know. I don't know if I would buy this dance game though immediately. I'd probably wait it out.
Go into that Persona money machine. You're just giving in to the money machine.
Yeah, I'm basically committed to the Persona fandom.
Hey, I mean,
if they even have
if
they even have a fandom or a fan club name, I don't know. But
yeah, I'm curious if they do have a fan club name.
Yeah, this is one of those games though. They'll come out with something every 1 to 2 years to keep it going until the very next Persona game. But
gotcha.
I do think it was I don't know how long they're gonna milk this out, because there was a significant gap between Persona 4 and Persona 5. But I wonder what they might do is they will come out with a special edition of Persona 5, and that special edition will include more sub stories or whatever, because that's the difference between Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden. So it's if it follows the same track, Persona 5 is going to have an even longer game than it already is. At some point between making Persona 6. I follow this game too much.
No, I mean, you're a fan. It's that's good.
Yes, I love this game. But I just think that's funny. And then Q2 is coming out. I've never played Q1 though, but I've seen videos on
I have no idea what that is. What is that?
So Persona Q is the game for Nintendo.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's why I've never played it. I've only seen videos for it. But
Right.
so Persona Q, I don't remember which one that was, whether it was Persona 4 or 3, but that was a Nintendo version of it, but not like the game for the Nintendo platform, but a sub-story.
I see.
And now they also have a Persona Q2 title coming out. But it's also really random too. Like, it's not even in the same mood as the actual game. Basically, these are some random ass spin-offs. Completely random. So.
Huh. Interesting.
Yes.
It makes me wonder in what direction they keep going in.
Oh, they go in all directions to answer your question.
Yeah.
They're going everywhere. That's it.
They're trying to corner all the markets. They're trying to get every market available.
Pretty much.
And you know what? That's a good business strategy. That's fine.
I suppose that's right. So they're gonna get.
Oh yeah, no, they're trying to spread wide with a margin.
Yeah, pretty much. So that more and more people will be excited for Persona 6 whenever the hell that comes out.
Yeah, maybe in a few years. We'll see. Do you want to talk about what you were going to talk about?
Oh, just finish it off?
Yeah, just finish it off.
Okay. So an update from my Skyrim adventures.
Uh-huh.
It is getting a lot more fun. I'm getting really into it. And so one thing, I realized you can play in third party. Third person, I mean. You can play in third person. You can change it up. And once I discovered that, I'm not even kidding. It made my experience a lot better.
Yep.
Knowing that I can see the person and the perception and just my viewpoint was easier for me to aim and easier for me to attack than when I was in first person. And that's just because I'm not used to first person. But I think I'm going to stick with third person for now just because it's a lot easier for me to handle. I mean, who knows? Maybe down the line I'll switch and try to adapt, but I just feel more comfortable this way.
Yeah, you also have a wider field of view, so that's good.
Yeah. So that discovery was awesome.
Nice. Well, I'm glad you finally found it.
Yeah. And on top of that, so this is my first time playing Skyrim, and I guess this kind of goes in parallel because on television, I'm actually watching Game of Thrones for the first time as well, which kind of falls in line with this medieval dragon fantasy bunch of races and houses type feel.
Oh yeah, the staple for fantasy now is that there has to be a plethora of characters with different dragons and different backstories.
And dragons.
More dragons.
Yeah. Which is making it's making my Skyrim experience much more interesting. So context, I've never watched a Game of Thrones episode in full. I've always fallen asleep whenever it was on. I'm not caught up at all. I don't really know anything about it. And recently, I watched one of the episodes of Season 7 for the first time in full. And yeah, I know, everyone. I skipped 7 seasons. And I think I literally watched the 4th episode of Season 7, which, by the way, is split up into 2 seasons. Okay, I digress. But anyways, it's interesting because as I find Game of Thrones entertaining, I'm also finding Skyrim more entertaining as in parallel, obviously, because they kind of cover the same genre, and I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm putting more hours to it. Like last week I was struggling really hard, and now I'm getting used to a lot of the controls. I'm killing a bunch of bandits and doing a bunch of quests. There are so many quests. I don't even...
Yeah.
Man, I'm baffled by... I've never played a game where there's so much to do.
Yeah.
And, like to the degree that this is.
There's just a lot going on in the game.
I know. Oh god, I don't like. It's so overwhelming thinking about it.
Well, that's what I like about Bethesda's games, like their open world
Yeah.
Elder Scrolls Fallout games, that it's packed with detail. There's so much
It
you could
really
do.
is.
You don't have to follow the main quest. You can do whatever you want. That's why I love open world games, and
I know.
Skyrim is
I
just
mean,
one of those.
like, God, who knows if I'm even gonna finish the game? And if I do finish the game, who knows? It might even take me years to do it. I'm having a lot of fun just doing quests, and I don't even know if they're part of the story. I mean, who really cares at this point? It's very engaging. It's a beautiful game. It's a lot. There's a lot of variety, and I
Yeah.
think that's what makes it fun. But um, I've encountered like this issue, which I think just comes with experience and just figuring out and managing your items more. But I'm struggling because I'm picking up all these items to sell back whenever I go to cities, but then there's a weight limit,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to keep this weight limit, I think, of under 300 pounds. But if at any point you go 300 and over, you can't run anymore in the game, or which is the normal control when you use the
Yeah.
when you use the stick.
So you're over encumbered.
I know, but the freaking armor and chainmail and all these different things weigh so much, especially when you're picking up more and better weapons and better materials. And I think there's on the ability chart, you have to just upgrade your ability so that whenever you're wearing heavy armor, it won't weigh anything. Or which, by the way, there's so many abilities. What the hell? Oh my god.
Yeah, the trees for those are intense.
I don't even know if I'm choosing the right one. I mean, who knows? Everyone's story's different, but there's so many things. Oh god. It's crazy. It's really crazy.
It's like I said, it's packed with so much detail. There's so much for you to do.
I know. I'm an Argonian, I think.
Oh, you're an Argonian? That's so cool.
Yeah. Yes, and my Argonian's name is Philip.
Philip the Argonian. And you talk like this. Or something. I think that... How do they talk? I forgot. But they sound weird.
But yeah, that's what I chose. That's what I chose for my game. Because I was thinking... Have you seen The Fairly Odd Parents before?
Yeah, I love that show growing up.
Yeah, so I was thinking of that episode when they find the quarter or the nickel named Philip.
Oh, wow.
And that's because I just watched that episode before I played Skyrim for the first time.
Yeah.
And that's why it's named Philip.
Philip
the Argonian.
That's awesome.
Yes. What race were you?
I liked being elf, like dark elf characters.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the Elder Scrolls series. But then at one point I was what are the tiger people? What are they called? Khajiit. Khajiit. I liked being a Khajiit too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of memes around. Oh god, there's a Khajiit in Oblivion. And he sold you rugs? I forgot. Oh god. People are gonna hate me. But there's a I'll find it. I'll talk about it next time. I gotta find it.
Okay.
Yeah, there's this guy who'd race you in Oblivion. Like he was a Khajiit, and he's like, I'm the fastest in the land, and he'd try to race you, and you'd have to beat him. Yeah, and then but I ended up just killing him, and I'm like, I won the race. I just killed you.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know the joke.
It's okay. It's okay. Nah, the joke isn't that I killed him. The joke is that I forgot. Like he'll sell you rugs. There's a guy who'd sell you rugs or something. I forgot. Okay, never mind.
Too much pressure.
I know. Now I just feel awkward for mentioning it. Never mind.
It's all good. What is the most popular race or the most commonly chosen one if you do know.
I have no idea. I mean, there's Imperials and Nords and yeah, I don't know.
For sure. Yeah, I have no idea. By the
I mean, every
way,
time... Oh, go ahead.
oh, every time what? Go first.
Every time I see someone playing one of the Elder Scrolls games, they're always a different like character race. So I can't really tell if there's a favorite one or popular one amongst people.
I see. Got it.
Yeah.
I think it's really random how you have your you said you're a high elf or
Dark elf?
a dark elf.
Yeah.
And I think it's really random how there's a wood elf.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Like, I don't know. I remember when I was choosing a race, I saw that and I was like, this is random. Why are the of all the elves you can possibly choose from, there's some random one called a wood elf. I'm sorry if I've offended anyone.
It's like, but it's cool that you get to pick the different races because even as a wood elf, you go around the world and they're like, "Wood elf, what are you doing here? You're not supposed to be here." And like, they comment
that's
on your
pretty
race.
awesome.
Yeah, they comment on your
Yeah.
race, and if they don't like you, then they're like offended by you. So like, since I was a dark elf, a lot of people hated me. They're like, "What are you doing around these parts?" I'm like, "Damn, that's racist."
Oh my god. Wait, are they really racist towards dark elves?
When I was playing Oblivion, yeah, like there are people who are racist towards me. Like they wouldn't say anything. They would just try to kill me. I'm like, dang, you guys are messed
Oh
up.
jeez. Okay.
It was like that for all the elves because it depends on what part of the world the game is set in and how the people in that world like react to your race, which I thought was really
Got it.
cool.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't think I've experienced that yet, so I mean maybe I have to go through more until I reach those interactions.
yeah, I mean you'll meet some people like slave traders or just whatever, and they'll be like, "Oh, you look like I could buy you at a high price or something." Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow. That's fascinating. I can't wait to find out.
And then kill them because they're racist, right?
Yes. They're racist. That's racist.
Oh, okay.
So,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, I was actually gonna end it, but if you had anything to say, let me know.
Yeah, it was the Khajiit part. It's not specific to the one game. It was from Skyrim, and it was Khajiits will be like, Khajiit has wares if you have coin, meaning that like the Khajiit merchants will walk around the world of Skyrim, and if you talk to them, they'll say that, and so that became a meme along with that arrow in the knee thing.
Okay.
Yeah, like Khajiit has wares if you have coin, or Khajiit will sell rugs or something. They'll speak in like the third person.
Got it.
Even though they're speaking of the third person of their own race. Not their name isn't Khajiit. It's like they're talking about their own race, which is so
For
weird.
sure. The arrow to the knee.
Yeah.
That's Skyrim.
Yeah, it's from Skyrim.
Oh, I'm so out of touch because I don't play this game apparently.
It's okay. I've never played the game in my entire life. I've never touched it. I've never played it on anyone's
damn.
console. But I know all this random crap about it because I played previous games and I was so interested in buying and playing Skyrim. But I've never, like as I said before in a previous podcast, I just never had the time to play it. I don't even own it yet. I haven't bought it before.
For sure.
But I will buy it on Steam, probably during the winter sale on PC.
Well, just be warned, if you buy it, it's a guaranteed time suck.
I'm gonna mod the shit out of it too, so
Yeah. So that's the one thing that, because I have it on PlayStation, is that I can't mod it and I can't do all these fun things.
It's okay. You don't want to fight against Master Chief?
No.
Are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to
I'm
have
such a hater.
you don't want to have Cloud in your party and have him follow you?
Eh.
Okay. That's fine.
I'm already freaking 15 hours
Yeah,
out of 500 hours into this PlayStation game.
There's
I'm
no
not
point.
turning back.
Yeah, no, I got you. There's no point going back.
But yes, that's where I'm at right now.
Nice. Well, glad you're enjoying the experience so far. Is this your first Elder Scrolls game?
I This is the first Elder Scroll game that I've played. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
but I have seen people play it very often.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't recommend going back and playing the other games unless you're interested in the lore of the universe and you want to see what those other places look like. But for the most part,
I see.
yeah, I would not recommend playing them because it's honestly the same experience, just different places, different characters, different
For sure.
storylines, obviously. But yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
Skyrim it's
I
a really
think-
good jumping place.
Yeah, I think I'm okay because I have seen a lot of people play Oblivion, so it's fine. And if I have anything about the lore, I can always YouTube a video. So what news do you have, and what are you playing?
So kind of two things that I'm playing, and the last thing is news, kind of news.
'Kay.
One of our coworkers at our office has invited me to play Nintendo Switch with him during lunch break sometimes, and we would play Mario Kart together. So I think that's really awesome that I get exposure to the Switch, and it further enhances my want to buy a Nintendo Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, like I really like Mario Kart as a Nintendo title. Just in the past, like I've always bought. I think I mentioned this before. I've always bought a Nintendo console to play Super Smash Brothers, but the second game in line after that would probably be Mario Kart because it's a really fun party game. It's always gonna be 4-player, no matter what. And now with online capabilities, it's like 8 players or whatever. So I think that's really cool too.
Nice.
But yeah, aside from having one friend that always comes over to my house, not always, but
Really
sometimes.
random. Hold on. Really random, but isn't there wasn't someone trying to create an after work group for playing Mario Kart?
Yeah, and I responded to it, but I don't know what the development of that, but I should probably ask him tomorrow. I'll be like, hey.
Yeah, there are quite a few people who have that Switch, and I feel like I know who, and there's about like 11 of you.
Yeah.
Or
I
11 of them.
I think I'm the only person that doesn't own one at our company and just plays it off of everyone else.
Yeah.
That's fine.
No worries about that, though.
But yeah, I think probably by next year, if they come out with a second iteration of the Switch, I might buy it. Because for now, I'm still waiting for some
Yeah.
hardware to come out.
Yeah. Not to mention, just waiting for more more copies of it to come out into
Yeah.
circulation.
Yeah, that is like probably the biggest thing for me. One of the biggest things. The other thing is just
Yeah.
software availability. I want Animal Crossing really badly,
yeah.
so waiting for that to come out too.
Ooh. Has there been an Animal Crossing 2? Or-
So I'll give you a little brief history. So there's one that came out in the N64 in Japan, and that never came out in the U.S. So what they did was they ported it to GameCube, and that came out on the GameCube in Japan as well as in the U.S. as like a definitive edition, basically, of the N64. And then after that, there's one that came out on the DS. It's called Wild World, and my brother and I played the crap out of that game. And then on the 3DS, another one came out called New Leaf, and so that's the third game. Oh, technically the fourth game overall, but the third game in the U.S. release schedule. And then another one called like Home Designer or something, Animal Crossing Home Designer. That it was like a standalone expansion or like an expansion to New Leaf that came out on the 3DS. So
That sounds awesome for some reason.
oh yeah, no, like I'm a huge fan of like the Harvest Moon / Animal Crossing games, just like lifestyle games in general, or like RPG, slow-paced RPG lifestyle games. And Animal Crossing is definitely up there for me because it's an infinite game. Like it can go on forever.
Yeah.
And I like decorating my home. I like decorating it with different themes and just having it look awesome.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like for me, like a lot of people attribute like these kind of games to like, you know, calming yourself or just like relaxing style games. So like in a way, Minecraft is also in that way where you could just build something
Yeah,
or
I
like
get
dig, yeah, and just explore. And that's what you do in Animal Crossing too. Is like you kind of explore because the world's limited, but at the same time you like build. You get money. You go to a job. You get money. You buy things at the store. You go
It's
back
like
to
The
your
Sims.
home. Yeah. You got to take care of yourself in the game as well. It's kind of like The Sims. So
Yeah. So you know what I thought was really cool about Animal Crossing? So my
Yeah.
my friend used to play Animal Crossing, and I'd watch him play, and there would be points where we're really close to an American holiday,
Uh
like
huh.
say Christmas or July 4th
Yeah.
or something, and the game actually has like special things on those holidays. Like it's corresponding to the American schedule.
Oh
And I
yeah.
thought that was really cool.
Yeah. No, totally. I think it changes by country too, like depending on what version of the
Yeah,
game
I
you buy.
know. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
shout out to like Nintendo Treehouse for always, or was it Treehouse? No, that's not Treehouse. Shout out to Nintendo for developing a game that like tries to add in all cultures and societies and walks of life. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah. That's that was the most amusing thing I saw when he was playing.
Yeah, and what's really cool about that too is that you can meet people from different countries if you go to a specific island in the game through Wi-Fi, which I think is really cool. And they
Oh,
can give
that
you
is really cool.
items that you don't have in your region because there's items that are region specific too. So like for example, a lot of it is in Japan obviously. So in Japan they have like
Yeah.
certain festival items like lanterns, or they have like 7-Eleven items like you can only get at 7-Eleven in Japan. And so I actually have a funny story. I When I was playing the game, like I was like super into it when it first came out in 2013. I went to the international. It's called the International Island. I went to the International Island, and then I met this girl from Japan. I knew she was from Japan because her name was in not katakana, hiragana.
Kanji?
It was in hiragana. Her name was in hiragana,
Okay.
and I was like, oh, that's cool. And then she spoke English to me by typing, but it was like kind of broken English. She's like, hi. I was like, hi. She's like, do you want something? I'm like, sure. And she just gave it to me. Like she threw like something on the ground. I was like, what is it? So I picked it up. It was like one of those like really rare exclusive like little like I think it was like Lucky Cat, like the one that moves its arm.
Yeah, the
Maneki
Neko
Neko.
like
Yeah, Maneki
yeah.
Neko. Oh, I think was it that or was it something else? But I remember I couldn't find it in the U.S. catalog because it was only in the Japan specific area. So I was like, "Oh wow, like are you sure you don't need this?" She's like, "Yeah, fine." And then she's like, "Bye." I was like, "What the hell?" That was my only experience meeting like really someone really really cool from the
Wow.
international place. It's like she just came, said hi. She said, "Here's an item," and then left. I was like, "You're like the guardian angel, or like you're like the angel of like the
I know,
international
that's so
island."
awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
When's the last time you played Animal Crossing?
Last year. Not played it, not like sat down and actually played it. Like last year, some friends came over and they had their 3DSs. I was like, "What are you guys playing?" They're like, "We're playing New Leaf." I was like, "Holy shit, I have that too!" And they were like, "Yeah, let's play together." And so then we kind of like messed around in it, but then I didn't really like do anything in the game. It's just my town was full of weeds. I was like, "Oh shit, I gotta pluck all these."
Got it.
If you don't
So
play for a
when
while, your town gets full of weeds.
hmm So eventually, when this does come out to Switch, you can take your already pre-existing save and use it on the Switch.
I don't know because the save is hardware specific.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
yeah. So there were
I hope they
rumors.
figure out a way to transfer it, because that would be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, like, they don't know yet if this game, the new one for the Switch, will either be a port of New Leaf because Leaf did like amazingly well, or it might be a new Animal
Yeah,
Crossing game altogether.
got it.
And I forgot to mention another Animal Crossing game called City Folk on the Wii U, or is it Wii? No, it's Wii. I never played it though because I was too busy with the DS version of Animal Crossing. So
Mm-hmm.
there's actually five, technically six or seven if you count the other one, the
Got it.
home designer one. But yeah, so I really like Animal Crossing. Bottom line is I'm waiting for that to be announced before I buy Switch. And then after that, I want Super Smash Brothers to come out because again, the only way I'm gonna buy Switch is if Super Smash Brothers gets announced, and I want that game for the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Um, the other thing I wanted to talk about was I've been playing Resident Evil 5 on the PS4 recently.
So,
I Go ahead. Sorry.
so you played 6?
So I played and beat 4. I played and beat 5. I played and almost beat 6, but I got tired of it and I just watched the rest of it on YouTube. And then I
Okay,
I own 7, but I have not finished 7 yet.
Got it.
But I'm replaying 5 because I wanted to play it on the PS4, and I have 2 controllers, and I wanted to up my co-op library on my PS4.
Mm-hmm.
And so I invited Jairus over, friend of the show, Jairus Campy. Shout out to Jairus. I invited him over last weekend, and we sat down and just like talked about like a bunch of stuff. We just talked about our lives and catching up, kind of. And so I was like, hey, you want to play Resident Evil? He's like, yeah. And I found out he played and beat 5 as well on the Xbox 360.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we were kind of like replaying it in a way together, and so it was really fun playing co-op. And then on Monday of this week, after I got home from work, I fired it up on the PS4, and I was playing it by myself, and I realized that Sheva, your partner, because you play as Chris in the game primarily, you have to have a partner who's the secondary character, Sheva Alamar. The AI in that game sucks so badly that it was so hard to play that game by myself because I really needed someone because I relied so heavily on another player, like a physical player, that I couldn't play it. Like it's just I just had to put it down. Yeah, so I'm probably gonna, if someone ever comes over again, I'm gonna be like, hey, do you want to help me play Resident Evil 5? So yeah, I'm trying to get back into Resident Evil as a franchise because I want to beat 7.
So what made you want to go back to 5?
It was on sale.
Oh, sometimes that's all you really need.
Yeah, it was on sale on Amazon, and I needed to hit that $30 order in order to get free shipping, and so, yeah, I bought that.
Got it.
I mean, hey.
Got it.
I mean, the other stuff I actually needed, so like the stuff I was buying from Amazon I actually needed, so I was like, shit, I'm under to get the free shipping. So I was like, oh, damn, I guess I'll see if there's a game on my wish list that's really cheap. And I was like, oh, hey, Resident Evil 5 is on sale for the PS4. So, yeah, why not?
Very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all I have to talk about for what I'm playing right now. The last thing I wanted to touch on is 13 more days until Yakuza Kiwami. Woohoo!
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And then I won't be playing anything else and just Yakuza.
Oh, God.
What's wrong?
I just started Skyrim.
I know.
And I realized that this is happening. Oh,
Did you pre-order Kiwami?
I didn't pre-order Kiwami.
Okay.
I was just gonna get it. Yeah. I was most likely gonna get it 2 weeks after it comes out.
That's fine. I mean,
Yeah.
Seeing is that 0 was sold out when I originally wanted it, I pre-ordered it on Amazon, so right when it gets released, it's going to get shipped to me, so I'm just trying to be safe, because I know that's probably going to be the only thing I'm going to be playing when that comes out,
Yeah.
so just waiting for
sure.
that to come out, and I'll be talking about it extensively once it comes out in 13 days.
Oh, yeah. And then we'll be back at it. Sorry, guys. I know it was only like 2-3 months, but I mean, technically it was 2 or 3 months, but we found some way to talk about it in every podcast if you think about it. So.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, leads to an email we got from one of our fans.
I have one more game to talk about, but if you want to get into that first, we can do that too.
Oh, okay, for sure.
Which one do you want to do first?
Oh, we'll finish your.
Oh, okay.
We'll finish your news.
Yeah. Before we go to the question or the comment, I want to say that I think I've talked about this before, but one of the very first games I've ever played was Sonic the Hedgehog on the Sega Genesis, and I have been a fan of Sonic games for a while now. Well, a select few.
Yeah, Sonic Mania's out.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna get into that. So Sonic Mania came out on Tuesday, and everyone's been saying it's the highest rated Sonic game that has come out in 15 years because the last game
I've heard that as well.
Yeah, and the last highest rated Sonic game that came out was in 2002, and that was Sonic Adventure 2, specifically Sonic Adventure 2 Battle for the GameCube. And so
yes,
it's good now that their Sonic Mania has had a lot of really good reviews, because the last few Sonic games, minus Generation, have sucked ass. And like as a Sonic fan, like I know that, I'm aware of that. That's why I haven't touched or played those games.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that Sonic Mania is a really good example of why Sonic is still good. Like, yes, it's going back to the 2D platform. Yes, it still looks like it's going back to what the Genesis games were and what they looked like. But at the same time, I think it's a good testament to say, like, hey, we can put Sonic, old Sonic, classic Sonic, along with new Sonic and still be a good game. And I think that's amazing. Yeah, I think that's really good, and it's good for the Sonic fans who have a victory on their side, but it's also good for people who kind of discouraged Sonic, like as new games were released, and so I think that now they're going back to the roots. Like this is literally what Sonic should have been like for up until Adventure or after it. You know, they should have gone back to the roots sooner. But hey, now is better than later. You know, so that's
when
good.
do you think you're gonna get it?
You know, I don't know yet because it's really cheap right now. It's only $20.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I don't know.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. And I don't know if I'm gonna buy it on Steam or I'm on PS4. Like I kind of want to use a controller, like a real controller. Not to say that the Logitech controller I own for PC is a real controller, but I want to buy a version that I know I'm gonna sit down and play on. So I'm probably gonna play it on PS4 because I want to give my PS4 some love before the Yakuza Storm. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
One can call it a storm.
Yeah.
You can also call it a hurricane. If you...
Or in Japanese, arashi.
Wait a minute, is that really what it is?
Yeah. Do you know the group Arashi in Japan?
Yeah.
Their name
Oh my
means...
god.
So, okay, I have some random
Wow!
Let me
Oh my god, mindless.
Let me drop some J-pop history on you real quick. So in 1999, 5 boys met in Hawaii during a storm. All right? And their group was formed that day during that storm. And when they were trying to come up with a name, they came up with the name Arashi because they got together during a storm. And that's why their name is Arashi.
So is Arashi is Japanese for storm, or is it Japanese for hurricane?
I believe storm. I think they have a
Okay.
different word for hurricane. I have to check my facts on that.
Man, I'm so... Oh, wow. This
Yeah.
is...
Mind blown?
never knew
Mind blown?
I'm mind blown.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of like just random facts on me for some reason. But yeah, if it ever comes to a point where you mention something and I'm like, oh, I know what that is, I'll just blurt it out.
Yeah, that's awesome. We need more Japanese artists that tour the U.S.
Yeah, looking at you, Tari Hikaru. Where's your concert in the U.S.?
Like, I mean, there are a lot of there are Japanese artists who come to the U.S., but not to the extent that a lot of other international artists come.
Well, they need to be mainstream and they need to sing songs in English because a lot of people, especially international fans, they don't. Of course, you know, they appreciate the music that they create.
I'll listen to their Japanese music.
Okay, let me give you a good example. Do you know the band One OK Rock?
Yes.
So, well, I'll get into a little trivia about them in a second. But they had a show in January that I went to in San Francisco, and I loved it.
I think you've mentioned this before, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I mentioned it on the podcast, but they sang most of their Japanese songs, and I thought they were going to sing only their English songs because they came out with an album shortly, like the month before, they came out with an album in Japan and in the U.S., and their U.S. album was, of course, only songs in English. And so when I went to the concert, I was kind of sad because I was like, oh man, I hope they sing some of the Japanese songs. They sang all my favorites in Japanese, and I was so happy about it. And actually, they came back. They did so well in the U.S. that they came back for a second tour, and it was just yesterday that they performed in San Jose. So I thought that was awesome.
Oh, that is awesome.
Oh yeah, no, they had a Bay Area venue, and it was only in San Jose, and I thought that was really cool. And they sang the Japanese songs there too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically.
So.
All I'm saying is the J Soul brothers need to come to the U.S. That's all I'm really saying. Like, I'm not asking for much. So.
Oh yeah.
Hey, but I think. Yeah. But I think for me, a lot of the international artists that I listen to, I like listening to it in their native language. But a lot of it has to do with, their singing is much more confident when they're singing it to something they're familiar with, they know the language and all these things. So even though I don't necessarily understand word for word, I always prefer listening to the original version than listening to English translated version, I suppose.
Yeah, no, I get you. Like, for example,
Yeah.
like the lead singer of One OK Rock, his name is Taka, and he actually
Yeah.
speaks like pretty fluent English. So when he sang all of his songs in English, like it sounded really normal and natural. And so it took a lot of
Got
years
it.
and practice for him to do that. And
sure.
another case would be Radwimps, the band that did the music for Your Name, the anime movie. They did an English version of like one of the lead songs, and the guy actually went to Washington to study English for like a couple of years. I think when he was younger.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
That's
and
really
so
cool.
yeah, and so if you listen to the English version, like it sounds weird to me because like what the heck, like you're singing your Japanese song in English and you're still using some Japanese words, but at the same
Yeah.
time, it's fluently translated by the lead singer because he's the guy who wrote it and he can speak English fluently. So I was like, oh, that actually works out well. So
It does.
it's not bad in the sense that it sounds weird. It does sound weird, but it's good because it was translated by the original writer who's fluent in both languages.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Also, little trivia about One Ok Rock I was gonna say before. In Japanese, their name is actually Monokroku, which means 1 o'clock in Japanese, because it's the time.
Ah.
It's the time of the morning that the band performed at because they couldn't find a venue in the daytime to house them. So
Okay.
when they're starting out, they went to places at 1 o'clock in the morning because there would be no one there, so they could just practice on their own time.
That's a really cool fact.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool trivia. And
That is it.
since you like Japanese music, and Japanese stuff, Lisa, I have a proposal for you. Would you want to go to the J-pop festival on September 9th and 10th or 10th?
Oh my god.
It's in it's in Fort Mason in San Francisco, and I kind of want
Oh,
to go. I kind of want to go.
Fuck. This is the place you went to last year with Kevin's all you can drink sake bar, right?
It was that sounds really weird, but yeah, that's it. That's what it was. Do you want to go?
So I might not attend the entire thing, but I will.
No, we don't have to go
probably
the entire thing.
More than likely be down to attend like half day. So
Yeah, no, let
Yeah,
me
let's
know. Let me know. We could go together.
let's fucking do this. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It's on.
Let me ask.
We're doing this.
Let me text our friend Kevin and see if he's actually gonna be working that day. But most likely he will be, I think. So yeah, we'll talk about it tomorrow
Amazing.
when I see you.
Yeah. So, really random, but I just wanted to talk about one more Japanese artist that I really like that I actually discovered. I discovered on Terrace House, and
Okay.
after discovering them on Terrace House, I started listening to their Spotify. But they're called Suchmos, and they're like a very jazzy rock type band. They're old school Maroon 5. They're Maroon 5 with songs about Jane, if that makes sense. Like their very first album. They're that type of sound. Yeah.
I like that era of Maroon 5, but also I think they did a
Yeah.
song for Naruto at one point because I haven't watched a lot of anime in my life, but Naruto is one of those anime that I actually
Yeah.
watched all the way through, minus Shippuden. So I think
Yeah.
they did a song for one of the openings or endings.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So I discovered them on Terrace House, and now they're one of my current favorite artists. They're really good. By the way,
Nice.
remind me, ProZD did this really funny video about spoofing Naruto spin-offs, and it's so
Oh,
accurate.
I
So,
saw that. I saw
I have
that.
to show it to you.
I saw it already. I saw it already. Yeah. It was awesome.
So fun.
Yeah, so fun. I was like, what? It's
so-
true though.
It's so good. And then it's like, here's my daughter, Bomoko. And I was like, God
Yeah.
damn it.
He's like, he's like, hi, I'm Bamako. It's like, oh, god damn it. Yeah, so good.
It's so accurate though. Oh
Yup.
my god.
I think that video he said was sponsored by Crunchyroll. So I was like, wow, no wonder it was like too accurate to Naruto
Yes.
or Boruto.
Clearly.
God, fucking Boruto, get the fuck out of here. I don't hate Boruto. I'm just like I'm bitter because maybe I should have watched Shippuden, maybe I shouldn't have, but that's a whole other topic. Maybe we'll have an anime cast or something. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah, we got to bring Jairus on for the anime cast because he's actually a huge anime fan.
Really?
Like he knows everything front to back. I think.
Okay.
I say I think because
I'm
I don't test my logic on that. I really don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I have to say about stuff.
Yeah, that is all that I have to say as well. So we only got one comment, and basically it was appropriate to kind of go off of when off of the previous conversation, but the comment was basically saying that they appreciate that we like to talk about Japanese games on this podcast. Yes.
Do other podcasts not give Japanese games love?
You see, I don't know. Like, to be honest, I listen to IGN and a lot of I listen to 3 podcasts, and I feel that a lot of them do talk about Japanese games, but I wonder if it's because we talk about Japanese games in depth that a lot of people like it, where other podcasts, it's not as in depth with like storyline and like really like a lot of specifics. So I don't know. I really don't know.
Right.
But
actually, to your point about that, because I listen to the Mega 64 podcast and Funhouse's podcast, the people on those podcasts, Lawrence for the Funhouse podcast in particular, he does talk about Japanese games and he talks extensively about them, but it's more like on the surface kind of thing. It's not like really in depth. Like, this is what the story's about. This is exactly the characters I like kind of like what we did. And on the Mega 64 podcast, sometimes they'll talk about Japanese games. They'll go in depth about it, but I can tell that they're not as passionate as we are when it comes to certain games. For example, like the Yakuza series is something I absolutely love right now, and I can go in depth about the characters and the style of the game and the game and the mechanics of the game. But I think it's not a lot. Not a lot of podcasts do that. Like, maybe there's podcasts in Japan, like some gamers that talk about these games extensively. But obviously, our listener that's giving this comment is listening to English podcasts. So
yes.
Yeah. Thank you, person, for giving us that comment.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like this is like the second comment we received, so no worries. And yes, we will be giving more content for the Japanese games we play. And we hope you're enjoying the podcast.
Yeah, hope you're oh my god. Hope you like listening to us talk about it.
It's late, everyone. Please give us a break.
Yeah. How about you tell us your favorite Japanese video games in the comments?
Yes.
We'd love to hear them, and we can tell you what our thoughts are about them.
Yeah, definitely.
Always got to give, one of the biggest companies or one of the biggest countries in the world some love, because they're one of the forefronters of video games.
All right. So, it's kind of late, and that's all I have to say.
Yeah. I'm done too. Let's call it a night, Alyssa. Let's get out of here.
Yes. We will call it a night. By the time you listen to this podcast, it will actually be part of a 2-in-1 podcast, our second one coming up, because I haven't had time to actually edit the podcast before this. So
yeah, been busy, y'all.
Yes, most def. So, take us out, Jeremy.
All right. Thank you for listening to the 18th episode
Yes.
of the Downtime Podcast.
God, did I say 17th at the beginning of this podcast?
I don't know, but it's 18th.
It's too late. It's too late.
I'm just remembering what you told me on Monday. That's all I remember. I'm pretty sure you said 18th at the beginning of this podcast.
Yes.
But yeah, thank you for listening to the 18th episode of Downtime Podcast. It's been a pleasure talking to you guys. We'll see you guys next time. Good night.
Yes. Good night.